Hey mamas, you're listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, the only podcast teaching you how to balance your work, motherhood, and wellness. I am Dr. Amber Thornton, clinical psychologist and mama wellness consultant. Each week we dive into tips and strategies and much more so that you too can become a balanced working mama. Let's dive in. Hey mamas, how's it going? Hello. Welcome to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. I know that most of you already know where you're at. So for those of you who are listening for the first time, hello. My name is Dr. Amber. I am the founder of Balanced Working Mama, clinical psychologist, motherhood wellness coach. I got all these kids. I got 2 kids, y'all. Woo. But anyway, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're listening. I really hope that y'all enjoy today's episode. But first, let's do a check-in. All right. So in this very moment, let me tell y'all what I just did. I am in my basement recording this little bit of the episode. But prior to this, I just wrapped up a session with my therapist, my psychologist, y'all, because I am also seeking help and support for things that I'm experiencing in my life. And so I actually started going to therapy shortly after my dad passed away. And I think you all know that my dad passed away in May of this year. So it's been almost 3 months now. May, June, July. Yeah, about 2.5 months since my dad has passed. But in the midst of all of that, I was going through so much in terms of my health and a lot of anxiety regarding that. And so it felt like the perfect time to get my little self back into therapy. And it has been really, really good for me. And so I just wrapped up a session on a Sunday morning with my therapist. Shout out to virtual therapy and telehealth and all those things that now allow so many of us to access therapy in a different way. Because to be honest, y'all, I don't know if I would be in therapy right now if it wasn't for me being able to do it virtually. But either way, I just wrapped up a session with my therapist and we've been working on so many things. But today I really talked with her about how frustrating the last week or so has been while I've been adjusting and getting back into the swing of things, working in person. And, we talked, we did some work around, some of my thoughts and beliefs around a ton of things. And I think the big thing that really came in that session for me is just this fear of, making mistakes, you all. This fear of making mistakes, this fear of doing things that might interfere with my ability to be a good mother. This fear of me doing things consciously or unconsciously that might interfere with my relationship with my children. Things like working too much, things like having a bad day, things like getting upset and them feeling like they can't come talk to me. I talked to my therapist about all those things. And so it was a really good session and it helped me to realize that there's so much that we experience in motherhood and as mothers that really challenge our ability to just be comfortable with being human. And I talk about this all the time of just like the humanity that is lost in motherhood sometimes. Like we become moms and we feel like we have to be super women, superhuman, super mothers. We have to, hide your emotions because you don't want your kids to feel a type of way. And you have to hold it all together because you don't want people to think you don't got it. And you got to like make a secure environment for your children so they can feel safe. And it's a lot of pressure. And then it takes away your ability to just be human. And sometimes you just need to cry. Sometimes you just need to like get upset. Sometimes you might slam a door. Of course, we don't want to do these things often. We don't want to do them frequently. But if you have had a moment recently where you maybe lost your cool, or you maybe weren't your best self in front of your kids, or, you come home from work and you literally don't got nothing else to give for that evening, girl, trust me, you are not alone. I know I'm speaking to so many of you, and I'm speaking to myself as well because I've had some moments like that recently. And I'm realizing that, and this is something that came from my session, so I'm sharing it with you all. Hopefully, it helps somebody. We can control the things we can control, and the rest we have to let go. Right. And so, for me, what I'll be working on is okay, well, how do I learn to recognize the signs when I am having a bad day, when there's things piling up and up and up so that it doesn't lead to me exploding, right? Or what are the things that I can be doing now that won't get me to that point? Or even for you all, what are the things you can control now that will decrease the likelihood of, all these other things that you're worried about later, right? But also, how, on the other hand, how can you allow yourself to be human because you are? How can you allow yourself to express and practice that humanity within your motherhood journey? Like, for instance, I told my therapist, maybe something I can start to do is if I am having a bad day, just being real about it. And if I feel like my daughter, not yet, because she doesn't notice much yet. She notices more than we realize though. But more so for my son, if he notices that I'm not having a good time right now, just saying, mommy's not having a good day, but I'm gonna be okay. Or this is what I'm gonna do to make it better. Right? Like, how can we be honest in our parenting and in our motherhood, um, so that we can still be human too? So I don't know if that helped any of y'all, but I just wanted to tell you that's my check-in for today. So maybe yeah, like that was my check-in today. I just finished therapy and I'm being real and upfront and honest about it. And it was good for me. And it's good for me. It's continuing to be good for me to have a space where I can talk about my stuff. And I have a place where I can go, to take all the things and all my needs and all of that. We all need that. And so I hope that you all will find that too, whether it's within a motherhood community, whether it's with your best friends, whether it's with your therapist, whoever it might be. And I hope that you all have a space that you can go to take your shit. That's it. That's it. All right. That's a check in, y'all. So let's get into today's episode. I hope that you all enjoy today's episode because I am talking with Coach Christina, and she's going to be talking with us about how to create time for fitness and what that even means when it comes to motherhood, y'all. So get into this episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Hey, Mama, I'm so glad you're listening to the podcast, but I also want to connect with you on social media. So be sure to follow me and Balance Working Mama on Instagram. You can find me at Dr. Amber Thornton. That's DrAmberThornton, and Balance Working Mama at Balance Working Mama. BALANCEDWORKINGMAMA. Follow along, join in on the fun, but then also send me a DM to say hello. See you there. Hey, mamas. So we have a special guest here today. I'm so excited because she's going to talk to us a little bit about pre and postnatal health and fitness and wellness. So I'm actually going to have her introduce herself. Christina, please say hello to the mamas and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Coach Christina here, aka Coach Mom Wife Life is my personal IG handle for those of you who have seen my personal page. But I am a wife, a mother of three. I have a 5-year-old daughter, a 3-year-old son, and a 5-month-old son. And we're done in case anybody's wondering. So 3 is enough for me. But I've actually been a certified personal trainer and women's fitness specialist since 2010. Over 10 years now. But when I got pregnant with my daughter, so going back to 2015, 2016, around that time, actually, during my pregnancy, I knew I wanted to be active, but I couldn't see exactly how to do it as I wanted to see fit. Meaning, I knew I could exercise, but I was going through these blogs and these articles and just going online, Googling stuff. And I was like, that's not enough. I need more. So I ended up doing a specialization. Actually, I got certified to teach pre and postnatal fitness. I started teaching pregnancy classes as well as mom baby fitness classes here in the Atlanta area, in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was doing pregnancy pool classes, mom baby pool classes, stroller classes, anything that I could do to keep moms active during pregnancy and postpartum. I started doing it. And I started it while I was actually in my third trimester of my first pregnancy. So I was wilding around Atlanta with my first child on a mission, and I was in love with teaching these women. And also, it not only was it something that I enjoyed doing, but I started learning from moms and really understanding the questions they had, which of course were similar to my own. But again, I already had a fitness background. So the things that I was looking for, I could kind of piece together a little bit and research. But when I was talking to moms, they were like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to be active, but here I am, I'm pregnant. What do I do? And so again, the more that I dove into the fitness aspect, I also started researching more about lifestyle and mindset, the changes that we go through as women and mothers. So whether you're trying to conceive, pregnant or postpartum, those are different phases. There's different changes. There's different seasons you're going through mentally, physically, and emotionally. And a lot of moms, when they're trying to exercise, in addition to not knowing where to start, they underestimate all these moving parts. And so, again, I love teaching classes, but I was like, I want something more. I want to be able to work with moms on a one-on-one or small group capacity so they can really understand, how does this work for me in my lifestyle, for me to stay active and fit and healthy and safe and feel good, and do, take care of myself in a way that works for my life.
Yeah, I love all of that. And I don't know, I just think it's such an inspiration. Because people say that to me, but I feel more so about the people like you who actually specialize in like the fitness and health and stuff. Like, you all are so inspiring because not only are you doing it in your life, but you're also helping other women to do it as well. And so I think that is so good. And especially in the time when we need it the most, I think my opinion is that around like pre and postnatal, that time period is just so, it's like a crucial one, but it's also a very vulnerable time period. It's a very confusing time. It's a very it's a hard time, and it's really easy for our you know our health to just fall on the back burner, and it ought to become about like, well, is the baby okay? Or, health related to childbirth, and not necessarily like holistically, how's my body doing, And so I commend you in the work that you're doing, but also I'm sure that you probably inspired people as you were walking up and down the sidewalks and streets of Atlanta, pushing a stroller, whatever you were doing. Like, that is so awesome. So I'm so glad you're going to be here talking with us today about this specific thing. And I know that you kind of already said what led you to become passionate about it, but is there like one particular moment or one particular like time that really led you to know like, okay, this is really what I'm passionate about? Like, pre and postnatal fitness and health and wellness is the thing for me.
Yes, and I'm glad you asked that. When I start talking, I get excited and I get amped up and just go off. But so the moment for me, and this is me being very transparent and vulnerable. So again, I have 3 children. The first time around, I didn't know what I was doing. So like most first time moms, I was lost, I was confused. And I did have some baby blues. And early on, I knew like, okay, I have to adjust the way I do fitness. Again, by this point, I'm going on several years. I've been certified teaching and training, but fitness is a little different when you're breastfeeding. You're trying to figure out, should I get up early? Should I sleep? Again, the life changes were a lot for me to adjust to as a first time mom. And I got a learning curve and I figured it out. But when I had that second kid, and you already know that second kid, the second kid, it's like going from 1 to 25. I'm like, whoa, what? I was like, people tell you that second kid hits a little different. And it's funny because when you ask that question too, initially, I wasn't really intent on launching J2M Fitness as this entire service-based business. I was just initially, for the first year or two, thinking about tips and blogging and starting an Instagram page, just having some information for moms. But my turning point was when I had my son in 2018. I had 2 under 2, and I was home for several months before I went back into teaching. I was home for like almost 6 months. I almost lost it. Like, I was really having a hard time. 2 kids, home, exhausted, have a loving, supportive partner, but I didn't know how to express my needs. I was trying to juggle so many things. I started having bad anxiety, panic attacks, and just, just feeling like, whoa, I don't know what's happening, but this is not me. Like it felt like I was drowning. And I don't believe in powering through things and just saying I'm gonna get through it. But I just woke up one day and was like, I'm not doing this. And I got up. People that started following me years ago, I used to get up and go to the park pre-COVID a lot more. So I would go get my kids, put them in the stroller. I didn't have daycare. I didn't have, some of the other support that I was looking for. And trying to go to the gym with 2 young kids, I was like, forget it. So, I just started getting creative and moving. And I started feeling better. And all I could think was, man, again, with all that I know, if I'm having a hard time and I'm adjusting, I can only imagine what moms are thinking and feeling who maybe have never worked out and are just not really consistent in their journeys, how they can possibly start exercising when they have a newborn and or like my case, 2 under 2. That 2 under 2 almost took me out. I was like, ooh, they did this. But the point is, like you said, those are very vulnerable, intense periods. It's kind of like a time warp. Like you're really trying to get through the day. And again, the people tend to focus on pre and postnatal fitness as the exercise, which are really important. And I do that. Clients are getting great success stories and whatnot, but it has to fit into your lifestyle before it can even be effective. If you can't see where exercise fits, if you don't have the energy to do it, if in my case, I'm working with overwhelmed, undersupported moms. If you're someone who's like, oh, I just can't do it because it's a luxury, no, it's not. I don't have a secret team behind cameras that you guys don't see. That, like I don't have a whole squad of people. It's me, my loving, wonderful husband, but it's the 2 of us, and I'm away from home. So it's like I have to figure out how to make sure fitness works for my lifestyle, and I know other moms need that too. So that 2 under 2 phase was kind of the aha moment. And also I just noticed that people were constantly through social media asking me questions about their journey. It was more like service-based questions. I was like, I gotta go ahead and just do this. So long story short, in 2018, I launched it. In 2019, I started taking on clients. The rest has just been.
Yes. Oh, wow, that's amazing. And I think it just shows like how hungry people are for this type of information. Like people, especially moms, we want to be well. We want to be healthy. We want to be fit in terms of like, not how we want to look good, but like we want to feel good. I think that's the thing. We want to feel good. We want to have the energy to chase after our kids and feel good about it, right? And so I think it just shows you how needed this information is, and how much support we do need around it. And I was going to ask you about some of the specific challenges that you actually do see moms experience with this. And I will just echo everything you said. I had the 2 under 2. Ooh. So I don't know if I technically have 2 under 2 anymore. My son is 26 months, but I feel like it should just still count.
I feel like if you have a 2-year-old and under,
it's then it still counts. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if your kids are under 3 and you have more than 1 kid,
it's
just like now, I said I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-month-old. So in my mind, I'm like, that's still the same 300 pounds. So
yes.
I'm like, they're 5 and under. That's the category I'm in now. Like, yes. By technical terms. Okay.
No, I feel you. Like it really is challenging, and it's like, I love how you said, and I say this all the time to mamas that I work with, just about wellness in general. We got to get real creative about how we're going to get this wellness and how we're going to get this fitness, because if we're not intentional about it, it's not going to happen, because these kids will run over us. They will take our livelihood. They will take it because that's all they know. And, we love them. We want to be here for them, but like we also really matter as well. And so I also love how you were saying, you really needed to figure this out for yourself. And then you realize you were able to help other people. And that's a similar story for me, just in terms of wellness in general. My story is that I was really afraid to become a mom because I hadn't really seen examples of motherhood done in a way that also prioritize the mom's wellness. It was like, everyone else is more important. And then maybe every now and then mom can go buy herself something too. And that it wasn't sufficient. It wasn't enough. And I was afraid that that's what motherhood would be like for me. But I was just like, no, I've got to figure this out. Like, how can I be a mom and still feel well? Like, how can I still continue to work out? How can I still keep myself as a priority? And I think it does say a lot about how we can only give what we're giving to ourselves. And I think that's the case for the people who are providing the services, but then also for the mamas that we work with too, because as a mom, you can only give so much to your children, and you can't give when you're not pouring back into yourself. And so um that just is so important. But I want to ask you, what are some of the specific challenges that you see mothers face when it comes to their fitness and their health in general? Like, what are the barriers that they come to you with? What are the things that they say that keeps them from where they want to be? Like, what are some of the challenges that you see?
Okay, so the first one is actually what we started talking about right now, which is a lot of us. So one of the things we do, like I do with clients inside J2M, is there's a lot of learning and unlearning. And people are always like, ooh, like, they're kind of drawn for a loop. Like, I got to do what now? I can send you a workout, but again, if you're not going to do the workout, there's no point in doing it, right? So the first step is moms have to, like I said, see where fitness sits in their life, essentially, right? But sometimes that comes from a lot of deeper rooted issues we don't even realize. Like you said, a lot of us as women, we haven't seen other women around us prioritizing their health. We don't even know what that looks like. We haven't seen, like, we talk about balance a lot, especially more than ever, but it's like, have you actually seen what balance looks like? So then when you try to do it, how do you create it? Because you don't even know what it looks like, right? Typically what it looks like for you. And I think for women who struggle as a whole, I think especially, Black and brown women, especially, you start getting into societal and cultural expectations, like, black women, Hispanic and Latina women, like there are other cultural norms that you have to defy in order to even prioritize yourself. So we add more layers to that, right? So it can be a little bit of a layered concept for some women. Again, all clients struggle with some capacity. Some of us have way deeper rooted issues than we even realize. And you have to be able to acknowledge that and then work through it. And again, create fitness and wellness and health and balance on your own terms. So there's a learning curve. The first thing is a learning curve of understanding who you are and what it looks like for you. I think though also mindset is really important. We talked about how motherhood is really challenging depending on who you are and your changes. A lot of us tend to, and actually, we have a mutual client that said this, Nicole, the testimonial of her. One of the things she said was during her postpartum fitness journey, she kept trying to do what she was doing before she had her daughter, so Marley. Like, before I had Marley, I was doing these things and I kept trying to do them and it just wasn't working because it doesn't. So anybody watching the podcast, what you did 5 years ago, okay, also, no shade, but them little jeans you had 15 years ago in your closet,
Let
sis,
them go.
leggings are the new size. It's okay. You're not supposed to fit into a mold. So my thing is, my clients do have incredible transformations. I have clients they're losing, I've had clients lose 20, 25 pounds in 90 days. Like, the success is there, but you have to dig deeper than just, oh, I can't wear the jeans. I keep looking at them. So now you're mad at the jeans. Like, stop. Let's focus on what you should be doing. So your mindset, having the right perspective, but also, again, like, one of the things I do with clients, making sure they're more in love with the process than they are the outcomes. Because the reason some of us struggle so often is we're so focused on the baby weight, the jeans, you know, getting rid of stuff. I want to get rid of the weight. I want my stomach to be this. I want to snap back. I'm not gonna attack snapback culture. Like, okay, if you want to snap back, do you? But the point is, it takes time. It's a learning curve. Like I said, you have to love the process. Otherwise, if you get the results quickly, they come and go as fast as you get them. And everyone, like, even now, people will see my own journey. People who are following my personal page, and they think, oh, well, I used to hear this a lot, and I try to be kind, but I'm like, okay, y'all don't really know. Like, it's a process. People are like, oh, well, you did it so quickly. Like right now, I'm fighting on postpartum. I don't know if y'all know this, but I have not lost all the baby weight. I have not gotten back to where I was, a year before. Like, I'm not back to anything. And if I'm being honest, the mindset should be, you're not supposed to focus on where you are and what you should be doing. If I'm being honest, I've actually been more successful in doing some things postpartum fitness wise that I couldn't do before. But if I was focused on what I used to look like, how my pants fit, there weren't stretch marks here before, but like you can't waste, if you waste time and energy on forcing what needs to happen, it takes away from the process. So I'm very intentional with clients. There's a lot of mindset work, reframing, and of course also from a fitness standpoint, that's was a program. Everything's from a programming standpoint. A lot of people just want workouts. You can do whatever you want to do, but workouts and a program are not the same. And when clients come to me, I ask them, figure out where they are, do their assessments, we talk about their goals. And my job is literally to say, okay, here's where we are. I go through a detailed assessment, I understand their lifestyle, and then day by day, week by week, month by month, we're reaching toward their personal goal. Okay, and we're taking a huge milestone and breaking it down. So many moms are focused on, this is where I want to go. Well, where are you today? Let's do one thing at a time. And then again, we got to break this down. If you want to go from, I just had a baby to I want to run a marathon, well, we got to just start with the walking first. We can't skip to jogging today. There's a process.
I was just writing down like something that I wanted to remember that you said, and you were saying like falling in love with the process. And I think that is so important because too often we are like, many of us get introduced to health and fitness because we're trying to get rid of something, or because we feel bad about some part of our bodies or some part of ourselves, or we've maybe got like a health diagnosis or something that now is like putting all this pressure, like, hey, you gotta do something. And so too many of us don't come into like the health and fitness space in a welcoming way. It's like we're forced into it because we don't like something, we don't feel good about something, we've got this health thing that scares us, and so there's all this like negativity around it. But if we can shift and get mamas to really feel good about the process of taking care of their bodies and feel good about what health and fitness might look like and feel like, that's a whole different experience. And I love that you said that. And all of that, like everything you said was just so spot on. And it really is reflective of some of the challenges that I see mamas face a lot as well. And I love that you said, just talking about like holistic health and fitness, like, have we even seen examples of this? And as you were saying it, I was just shaking my head like, nope. Nope.
And then also too, I think one thing that's dangerous right now too is, again, I think social media is a great platform, but so many of us are, I was talking about this recently with someone else, talking about some more in the future. Like a lot of us are watching bits and pieces of stuff that we desire.
Yep.
But it may not be for you. So like you're going online and again, that's why I kind of get like, I try to remind people like my page is just me telling my story. It's not for you to take my story and try to hear your life. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm honored, I'm flattered, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm telling my truth. This is my story, right? But everyone's not going to have the same story as you, the same circumstances, the same outcomes. But more importantly, don't compare your life to me. Like that's not what my page is for. It's just my truth, and vice versa. Like when I see my clients, like their success is their own. And what I see a lot too, a lot of fitness coaches, like people who are more fitness based, they tend to take what they did and then replicate it for other people. Yeah. And that's the opposite of what I do. That's why I really love Jason. It's definitely just more layered in more moving parts than most coaching approaches. Like none of my clients are doing what as far as like doing the exact same thing. Like every single client has a different path they're taking. And my job is to work backwards. Where are you now, like I said? And you may be in a totally different space than I am. That's my job. My job is to figure out where you are and help you progress. Because clients will come to me sometimes and I'm sorry, I don't know what just happened there. Uh-oh. I apologize. there was an update that just popped up or something. But a lot of clients come in with these like I saw you doing this, so I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, woo, okay, what we're gonna do right now is talk about you. It's not about me, it's about you. So tell me what you need and let's figure out how I can serve you. And I'm all about servant leadership. My job is to help you with your journey, not tell you what I do. That's not how it works. It's one of the most dangerous things I've seen more than professionals and or just other moms are like, I did this. Well, that's not, no.
No.
What your friend did may not work for you. What that coach did may not work for you. There is no one size fits all. About earlier, being post-natal fitness and just that spectrum, TTC, pregnancy, postpartum. We all have different circumstances, and I haven't even touched upon the fact that I have clients that have different health considerations, and even I'm not a therapist, but like clients that come to me that have postpartum depression and other mental health considerations. You can't just dive in and just say, here's the program, and just walk away. That's not how it works. And it's a delicate, intricate process. And it's not something to just Google real quick and then you're good. Like, no, that's not, let's not do that.
Let's not. And I completely agree with you. Similar, like I have especially around fitness stuff, like I'll have people say, I see you working out at 5 a.m. I'm trying, but I just can't. And I'm like, look, girl, 5 a.m. is not for everybody. And you don't have to do it this way. This is my way because I know by the time 6 and 7 o'clock p.m. comes, I'm gone. My energy is like, I don't want to do nothing else. I don't got it. I don't got nothing else to give. And so my mornings are my golden hour, but let's figure out what it is for you. And, like you said, there is like so many things that work for different people. One size does not fit all. And no. And like you said, let's focus on you and not what other people are doing. And that's how we find the key for you. And I like that. I love you said that. So I'm still really stuck on this whole like falling in love with the process part of what you said. And, my next question for you was going to be like, how do you work with mamas to get them to a better place in their health and fitness? But I kind of want to ask you, how do you get them to fall in love with the process? So like I kind of feel like those are similar questions, but like, how do you do that part? Because I know as soon as you said that, I heard a mom that I know, and what she would say is like, I can't fall in love with this process because I hate it. Like I hate it. And so how do you get them to fall in love with the process?
Um, it's funny, even as you said that, I mentioned Nicole earlier. One of the things I said was, Nicole, thank you for trusting the process. She was like, I didn't. But I didn't trust the process. I didn't want to do it. And the moms will flat out say, like, honestly, I didn't. And I don't, sometimes that's a personal thing. Like, some moms may not even realize it. Like Nicole, I'm like, you might realize it if you do. Like, I tricked you. Okay, you trusted the process. It may not seem like it, but sometimes mom may not recognize it. But really, trusting the process is an action more than anything else. I hope that moms will grasp onto it as a mindset. That's the deeper work that we try to do. But trusting the process really just comes down to, are you present day by day, week by week, month by month? Are you intentional and present in your journey and focused on each step of each milestone, as opposed to what you used to do, what you didn't do, what you want to do, what's going to take you 6 months to a year, right? So whenever clients, even if they don't vocalize that, if think about some of the clients I've had, for example, I've had multiple clients who, for example, are in pelvic floor therapy, right? So if you're someone who is in pelvic floor therapy and you're doing actual internal exercises, you've had a traumatic birth, et cetera, then there's more dynamics that go into creating a program. So with a client like that, you're seeing a pelvic floor therapist, you're working with me, you're moving pieces. We can't skip steps. We cannot afford to go from, I had a baby, my doctor said I can't do these 10 things, to let's go run. That's not how it works. So trusting the process is, look, your doctor said this, I'm telling you this is what we're creating, this is what we're going to do for the next X number of weeks. Once you master that, then we'll look at this, Some clients move at different paces, but generally it's like, let's just focus on this phase. Boom, we got it. Congratulations. Now we're gonna level up. Boom, we got it. Now we level up. So it's like the saying, there's levels to this. So there's actually levels. It's not about, again, doing what I did or someone else is doing online. It's about, okay, right now today, like I've had clients, multiple clients that are like, I can't walk, or I can barely walk, I'm struggling to walk, I'm struggling to do basic things. I had a client once before that she couldn't walk with her baby at the same time. She had a C-section and it was causing some issues. I'll talk about that more at that time. But I just want to carry my kid around. And so from day one, it's like, well, today we're not there, but here we are a couple months later. I'm holding my baby. A couple more months later, and now you're working out with your kid. Like those are the things that come with trusting the process and falling in love with the process. And again, moms do not always realize it, but if you're putting it into action, you are in fact trusting the process.
Yes. Wow. Okay. So I heard presence, intentionality, patience with the process, and then putting these things into action can kind of get you to a place where you're trusting and then eventually loving the process a little bit better.
You have to, and I think that's from a mindset standpoint. A lot of moms are like, oh, well, I hear this all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pray for you. Come back and ready. Moms will say things like, oh, yeah, I'll revisit this when I have time. Again,
Ooh, where's the
I
time?
have kids. So I'm like, what? I'll revisit this after, like this arbitrary, not like
Yep.
we're going on vacation, so we're come back. No, like these very arbitrary 3 to 6 month windows of like, oh, well, I'll revisit it after we move and I don't know, whatever they are. And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do with your life. I'm gonna tell you right now, either you're ready to do it or you're not. There is no such thing as I'll revisit it when I have free time. I have met a lot of moms in my lifetime, and none of them have free time. We're out here making time for ourselves.
Making time. You got to make the time.
You have
Yes.
to make time for yourself. But like right now, today, there are 35, if not more, things I could be doing right now. But I'm making time for this. So it's a very dangerous mindset. People say, oh, well, I just don't have time for it. No, are we going to make time for it or not? Because
Yeah.
you don't have to work out 2 hours a day. It could be with your kids, it could be outside, it could be at home, it could be in whatever capacity you want. But you got to decide, do you want this or not? And if you do, then I'll walk you through every step. But when people say, oh, I never fell in love with the process or I can't, whatever, it's an action. It's not you're going to wake up like, oh, yep, you feel that? It's not a tingly feeling like, oh, I woke up today and I fell in love and I'm ready. Like, no, it actually is the vice versa. Like, when you don't feel it, I have clients that come out all the time, like, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. The first few months, I used to roll my eyes when we had those conversations. Like, I did not want to receive what you were saying, but I knew I could do it. And I saw, when I started seeing the results, then I was like, oh, okay. Oh, then it kind of it hits when you feel it. But again, it's kind of like, I'll work out when I get more energy.
No, you're not going to get the
Work
energy.
out, and then so that's where it starts. Just like don't talk about it, be about it. There's no way to like you're not going to journal your way into it. You're not going to affirm yourself. You can do all the affirmations you want to. You're not going to just affirm yourself into song. You got to do that. Come on, sis. Let's move. You ready to move? Let's do it.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And because I'm always the same way whenever I hear a mama that's like, I don't have the time right now. I'm always like, hold on. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. And like you said, it's either a yes or a no. It's either you're ready or you're not. If you want this, we can figure out where the time is going to come. We can get creative about it. We can make the time. We got to figure out it's a yes or a no. Are we going to prioritize it or not? And that's really it's that simple. And then from there, it doesn't mean that it's all easy just because you prioritize the time, but it increases the likelihood that you're going to achieve what you want because you've made it a priority. So I completely 100% agree with you. I want to ask you, do you have a mama fitness health success story that you can share with us? Maybe someone that came to you, had a lot of challenges, had a lot of barriers, and now she's in a completely different place because of your work.
Yes, honestly, there's like three that are in my head. I'll pick one because I know the time here. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I had a client who came to me. She was about 8 months postpartum, and she had a C-section and had gone back to work early, like super early, like 2 weeks postpartum. But she had some complications during her pregnancy, or I should say, she had some challenges. So she had persistent sciatica. So she had pain in that lower back, like a shoot sharpened pain, right? So she had sciatica for the majority of pregnancy. She also, for years, including her pregnancy, she had a herniated disc. Um, she also started struggling with her balance to the point where she actually fell a couple times during the pregnancy. And she was just having a hard time, not feeling well, like, low back pain, sharp pain, my hips hurt. I got to be cautious from, you're pregnant, you're falling, that's huge, right? She actually had gone to see several specialists. I can't remember all the physicians she met with, but she definitely met with, obviously, her OB, talking about doing an MRI. She didn't have anything they could see on the MRI as far as like broken bones or that. She also had gone to a chiropractor. She had just gone to different specialists. Like, I'm meeting with people, and I'm just not. It's not helping me. Like, I'm still in pain, right? So I kind of met her again 8 months postpartum. By that point, she could not walk or stand up and hold her baby at the same time because she still was struggling with imbalance issues. She had to tumble down some stairs. Like, she was having a hard little time. So fortunately, she was holding her baby being conscious. But she's like, my goal right now, she's like, honestly, I have a lot of goals. And my first goal is like, I don't want to be exhausted all day long, and I want to hold my baby. So when I say we started from just where you are today, that was the first goal. And so what we did was a couple of things. Number one, we did her assessment to understand what's going on. And in her case, it was a combination of core function. And it wasn't about getting six pack. It was like core rehab, core function, core strength in the sense of being able to do everyday movements, also work on posture. We also go into hip mobility exercises because, again, when you're pregnant, postpartum, your little hips and your pelvis, everything is doing all this. And in her case, she had some tightness that was inhibiting her ability to move and also causing more back pain. So long story short, we had to dive into the fundamentals, okay, the stuff people don't care about on Instagram. We started there, all right? And after about, by like 3 months, it was the point where, okay, I'm getting through my day, I'm not dragging, I'm not tumbling and tripping and falling anymore. And then by the time her son was like, maybe like 15 months, so like after his first birthday, by this point, he's a toddler, he's 30 pounds, she's working out with her toddler, and just lugging him and holding him. And I would say I was bursting into tears, like from I can't hold my baby to working out with my toddler, in months of time. And I knew I could do it, but I was obviously a little bit nervous as well. Gosh, just all these specialists, like I really, like I said, that was like, I got to get it together because I can't have her out here with the baby feeling like this, right? So I got very intentional on my end. But she also, and she never verbalized it, had a warm, fuzzy feeling, but she trusted the process. And she, when I said, we're going to start here first, she did that. And the stuff she was doing, it wasn't the exciting stuff. It wasn't even jumping. It wasn't even running. It wasn't like hit when you're sweating. It was like just basic movements. But as she progressed, also in terms of not just daily movements, but her workouts also progressed. She went from doing, short workouts like 20, 30 minutes at most, like 15, 30 minutes, to now doing a 45-minute total body circuit. And now I'm doing planks and now I'm doing this. So watching her journey was really incredible. And those are the kind of transformations that really are important to me because, like you said earlier, and so I believe the way you feel is so important. And people talk about what they want to look like, what they want to lose, what they want to do, but if you can focus on how you feel, everything else is secondary. I have plenty of weight loss testimonials when I was losing 20 plus pounds in 90 days, and those are also really awesome. But what's important to me is when I'm like, I feel good, I feel confident. My clothes, I'm buying new clothes, or I didn't know I could rehab my foot. The way women feel is really important.
Oh, I'm clapping because that is such a good story. Just kudos to you for the work that you're doing and for you like trusting the process and showing up and like just pouring so much into the moms that you work with, because I think it takes a lot to do this work, but also like that is amazing. And I love how you got her just from where she was, where she literally couldn't walk and hold her baby, and that's something that so many of us take for granted. You know, we don't. I never even considered like, oh my gosh, I can't walk and hold my baby, not for long term. Like I had a C-section, so like maybe the first few days or so, but beyond that, that's mind blowing to think that she couldn't do that. To now she's at a place where she can fully work out with her baby, do so much, and so I think one of the key points in that story that is so important is just really starting where you are, and really starting with the basics. And for her, it had to be very, very basic, and that is okay because that's where she was at. It would have been completely unrealistic to have her doing, all these things when really we just had to work on the very basic fundamental things. And so you really just have to start where you are. But like you were saying, she probably was not in love with the process in the very beginning, but she got to a point where she was able to appreciate it so much more because she was able to see how the effort really aided in how she felt, and she was feeling so much better. I think that is awesome. So please, I know we have to go soon, but if there's a mama listening and she's just like, okay, I really want to get it together. I want to start today. I want to do some things differently. What are three tips or three suggestions that you might have for her?
Okay, so the first one is that we talked about a couple times in this podcast, and it's starting where you are. So be present, be intentional, focus on where you are today, not where you used to be, and not where you want to be. You have to start with where you are. So right now, today, you're at a point where walking is where you start. You're at a point where only 30 minutes is what you can get through because you have little endurance, whatever it looks like for you. Focus on where you are, be intentional, and don't worry about the past and the future. Just start where you are. Really important. The next I would say is to focus on and celebrate every milestone. So a lot of women like to skip steps. Again, all they see is here and there. But if I'm being honest, the key to success is everything from here to here. There's like all these little bitty parts. Your daily action, your daily thoughts, your behavior, your consistency. And consistency is not perfection. Okay. Moms will go hardcore for 13 days, day 14 quit, and then we start again the next month. And I'm like, that's not consistent. So again, what are you doing every week and day by day? Like what does it look like? We talked about before earlier, like not trying all the things. Like just focus on where today, tomorrow, the next day, this week, next week. So be present with each milestone and celebrate the milestone. So let's talk about 20, 30, 40 pounds. Well, before you get to 20, you gotta be 5, 15, 10, 15, 20. Even when I have clients that have larger weight losses, so it's like 60, 70 pounds, well, let's go by 5 or 10. Let's just this month, each week I'm gonna lose 1 or 2 pounds. Because again, if you lose a 5 pounds, unless you have a pretty large weight loss, so typically it's not fat loss. So mom's like, I didn't lose 5 pounds, and I'm like, not this fat loss. So let's just stay the course, stay focused. The last tip would just definitely be do what works for you. Okay, like they're saying, do you stop worrying about what your friend did, the detoxes, the cleanses, the trimming, I don't know, the belts, stop. Just what works for you, what's sustainable for you, and does it feel good to you? People will say, oh, well, I did so to work for me. Number one, it worked for you, okay? But number two is with the process you're committing to actually something that feels good to you. If you don't enjoy it, again, I'm not saying that you're gonna immediately have to want like the feeling, but with food, for example, if you're like, oh, I'm doing keto, well, do you like keto? Because if you don't like it, then it's not going to serve you, okay? And again, there's always different exceptions, rules, medical considerations, but I've had many clients who have had, whether you're diabetic, you have PCOS, and it doesn't matter. There's ways to modify fitness and eating for everyone, right? But this idea that diet culture has a lot of us messed up, especially women. And do what works for you. Stop worrying about diet culture and friends and homegirls and my friend did this, great for her. Do you want to be hungry? I mean, you don't have to fast. Just, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but again, it's like, does keto work? Sure. Will it work for you? And then people may say like, oh, it works. Keep in mind too. When I say what works for you, success is defined by what you can sustain long term, what helps you get maintain results and feel good. You do all three things. Have you reached your personal goal, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, weight maintenance? Okay, cool. You got your goal. Now, can you maintain that for longer than a month, 2 months, 3 months? Part of what I do also making sure that my clients, they learn the process. They learn a lifelong skill because if you can't maintain it, then you're not ultimately successful. And it's okay. You will have times when you have, we all go through highs and lows and lifestyle and, everyone's not going to always be exactly where they want to be. But you have to be able to understand, all right, things are getting a little rough. I got to regroup. Okay, what does it look like? What works for you? Okay, so I encourage moms also, like, forget what everybody else is doing. They don't have your story. Do the work.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing these tips. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for the work that you do because it is so important. How can mamas connect with you if they would like to after this podcast?
Absolutely. So my personal page is at Coach Mom Life, or the JTN page is where I have the mom community, and you can follow mom journeys, all the before we have testimonials, all the stuff you see as far as mom journeys at JTN.
Thank you so much, Christina. It has been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for
Hey, Mama, I want to quickly tell you about the Empower Wellness Program. This is a dynamic 6-week group for working mothers who are tired of feeling overwhelmed, fatigued, burdened by mom guilt, but then also just not having enough time for themselves. This program takes all of that and transforms it into more wellness, more time for yourself, better priorities, community with other mothers, but then overall balance in your work, motherhood, and wellness. To learn more about the Empower Wellness Program, head over to balanceworkingmama.com. There you can find when the next program begins, what to expect, but then also how to sign up. Hope to see you in the next group. Hey, Mama. Thank you for listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. If you love this podcast, please be sure to rate it and share it with another mama that you know. And don't forget to follow me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram. I'll talk to you soon.